So yeah, another week's over. So let's talk about it, shall we? Cheers. Welcome back, everybody, to me doing the weekly Navel-Gazing, where I talk about all the books I read last week and all the books I plan to read this week and all the movies, all the videos I didn't make last week and all the videos that I won't make this week, or something like that. And yeah, let's get started with what I read last week. Well, I mean, basically I did reread Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson, and then I read Scissors Cut Paper Wrap Stone by Ian MacDonald. And then I reread Scissors Cut Paper Wrap Stone a second time because I wanted to make sure that I got everything correct for a video that I didn't make. I think that's most of what I read last week. I did travel a lot, so I kind of missed out on some stuff, I guess, or didn't have as much time for reading as I planned on having. So there's that. I get the feeling that I also read like a third book, and I just can't, for the life of me, remember which one that was, which says a lot about my brain, I guess. But yeah, that's where we are reading-wise, and yeah, what can you do? Oh yeah, right. I did reread. That's the point. I did reread the Julian James's The Origin of Consciousness and the Breakdown of the Bicameral Mind, which I read because I wanted to talk about, stuff, I guess, about both in Snow Crash and then the other one, Scissors Cut Paper Wrap Stone. So that's what I read last week. 3 books, not too good, not too bad, I guess. Let's talk about this week. Oh yeah, and I obviously started Sacrifice of Fools by Ian MacDonald, and I probably finish it tonight, which is pretty cool. So that's the reading for last week. 4 books that I finally figured out. You can tell my brain's kind of ruined for I don't know what reason. Let's talk about books that I plan on reading this week. And yes, I will read some books, although I suspect my reading will be less because there will be a festival that like friends of mine are organizing, and I'll probably be working there from either Thursday or Friday on, so very little time for reading in that regard. So, well, what am I planning to read? Well, I'm going to finish Sacrifice of Fools. Then I'm going to read The Sapling Cage by Margaret Killjoy, which comes out tomorrow. And I'm very excited about it. Margaret Killjoy is really cool, does some really cool podcasts, plays in a really cool band called Feminazgul, and has written a YA trans fantasy story. And yeah, I'm going to check that out. I think I should, broaden my horizon and do YA, because apparently YA is doing really well. Clearly, anarchist transgender YA is probably a different kind of thing, but we'll see. I'm excited for it. It sounds really cool. And yeah, I'll tell you all about it when I've read it. Then on Thursday, the new Neil Stephenson novel, Polystan, is coming out, and depending on, the whole festival thing, that's another book that I'm going to read. And then there is, of course, more Ian MacDonald. I have settled on, doing Sacrifice of Fools first, because it's a standalone, and after that is Chaga and Kirinya, and those are 2 parts of the Chaga series, and I like to do sort of like series or connected books in one go, so I decided to go this way, which means that I will probably go and read Chaga whenever I'm done with The Sapling Cage, or depending on how long that takes, after Polystan. We will see. That's sort of the plan, Chaga and then Kirinya, and then I guess whatever comes next in the Ian MacDonald series of books. So that's reading plans for this week, and I'm excited for both the new books and the old Ian MacDonald novels, and we'll see how that goes. Let's talk about videos, shall we? I did, in fact, make, one video. Obviously, I did upload the interview I did with Lavi Tidar. I really enjoyed that conversation. I hope those of you who've watched it have enjoyed it as well. I think it's, it's a solid thing. I enjoyed that. And I hope that maybe I'll do more author interviews in the future if I can get my shit together, which is, questionable. And then I did a video on Snow Crash, which is also out, and it's interesting. See, I tried to do something else with Snow Crash, looking more at like its connections to like the real world in a lot of ways, and not going too heavily on the plot or anything of the sorts, because I feel that's like a dimension that is kind of missing in Snow Crash discourse. It's obviously a well-known classic of cyberpunk, and it's been around for a while, so I figured I don't have to sort of do that other part. So far, the video is, a few people have watched it. It's not exactly... I thought Snow Crash would be more popular, and having a Snow Crash video review might do well. But then again, you can't ever judge these kind of things. So that's the two videos that came out last week. I wanted to record a video on on Scissors Cut Paper Wrap Stone yesterday, but I was just so incredibly tired the entire day that I started recording it. I stopped the recording halfway through because I wasn't making any sense, and I'm trying to make sense when I'm doing any form of video. So that one will have to wait. I'll definitely record it next because, that's clearly the next part of the Ian McDonald series, which is my worst performing series of videos. It's probably even less views than the Discworld videos, which is an interesting thing, but we'll keep doing this, and Scissors Cut Paper Wrap Stone is the next one there. It's a brilliant book. If you haven't read it yet, go check it out. It's short. It's like 4.5 hours in audio. It's like 100 pages and a little bit more in print. And it's about two guys doing a bike pilgrimage through Japan, future Japan. It's a really interesting book. I personally really appreciate the shift of tone there, and I can highly recommend you go and read the book. And there will be a video about it in the next couple of days. I just have to record it. Then, of course, I will try to make record a video, review, discussion, whatever, of the Sapling Cage when I have read it. That's the next thing that will definitely happen very soon. After that, of course, there will be a video for Polystan. I'm very excited because it's a historical novel, and the good thing with like Neil Stephenson doing historical stuff is that he's kind of limited, or not limited, but like kind of restricted to what he can do with like ideology and other stuff. And I hope that I do really enjoy his Baroque cycle, and I do enjoy Cryptonomicon, so I'm kind of hoping that this will be more that and less of Termination Shock and Dodge in Hell and stuff like that. I think he's stronger when he's writing historical fiction, and I'll talk about it in as much detail as I can fit into a video before my camera overheats. So that's another video that I'll try to make, and I will try to make a video on the dark side of booktube conversation, because I know it's been going on for a while, and I've tried to not talk about it because I felt the title was overblown and everything, but I think there's something that needs to be said and that has kind of been lost in the discussion so far, and that's what I'll try to talk about. I really enjoyed Britain's video on the matter from Saturday or something. I think it's a really good one in that it shows something, a very personal take that I definitely resonates a lot with me, so I highly recommend you go and check that one out. So that's video plans for this week. We'll see how many of those I get recorded before I leave for the festival stuff. So there's a chance this some of those will not happen before next week. Probably the Polystan one might be the big one that may be sort of like pushed to next week, because I have to read the book, and when it comes out on Thursday, and I'll be working Thursday to Sunday, I'm not going to read a book in that moment, am I? So we'll see how that goes. That's currently the plan. Anything beyond that, who knows? I also obviously forgot to say I did another monthly live stream. I had fun. I hope you had fun with it. It took a long time. It was like a 3-hour live stream. That's cool. The next one will obviously be in October, and since it's an October one, and I'll try to do like one with a guest and one without a guest, it will be with a guest, and I have already asked someone. I will not reveal names yet. It will be a nice surprise, I guess. There will be another one in October. Until then, I don't know. That's roughly the plans for now. We'll see where all of that is going in the future, but it's what it is, right? And I think like the other part that I've tried to sort of think about is, once again, like where I'm going with this channel. Obviously, it's an ongoing thing, and I do really enjoy the current thing I'm doing with the Ian MacDonald novels. I think it's valuable. I like reading authors in publication order, or in this case, partly rereading, partly reading it for the first time, going through those in publication order, looking at how authors develop, change their style over time, switch themes if they do, or find continuities and so forth, and try to explain or point out those continuities and stuff in like a series of videos so others can follow along if they feel like it. I think there's a lot of value to that if, in case someone is interested in, a career of a writer and not just any individual book as individual entertainment. And I personally, obviously, do often think about art and literature and music and so forth in that more like continuity kind of way. And it's certainly rewarding to me. It certainly has like even strengthened my appreciation for Ian MacDonald so far. It's like, obviously, he's a brilliant writer, and we'll see how, I'll try to get those done in the next couple of weeks. There's still, there's the Chaga series, there's the 3 ones, the standalones in, A River of Gods in India, then Brazil in Brazil, and the Dervish House set in Istanbul, and then there is the Luna trilogy, and I know there's a YA series, the Everness series, but I don't have those, and the audiobooks, which existed in the past, are no longer available anywhere, so unless I find means of getting those, I will probably have to skip that specific trilogy, which is, on the one hand, it's a shame, on the other hand, it's YA. I don't know if I'm made to read more via YA. We will see. So there's like another month of like Ian MacDonald stuff, and maybe by then we'll have like a release date for the audiobook for Ian's new novel, The Wilding, which comes out on Thursday. So if you get your hands on that already, you can read some interesting horror, I guess. From what I've liked from the back cover, it's sort of like wilderness horror in a lot of ways, survival horror. I don't know. Sounds interesting, sounds cool. I'll have to wait for the audiobook to be announced in case there is one. I mean, the publisher claims there will be one, but it's, not yet firm, so who knows. We'll see. It's certainly something that is going to happen. And I guess what I'll need to do is I'll definitely need to get my shit together when it comes to the Brandon Sanderson stuff, right? I mean, if I want to read parts of the Cosmere until the end of the year so I can, finish the Sanderson thing by the end of the year, I need to get started because those are obviously a lot of books. So I'll probably have to figure out how to do that, maybe interleave it with the Ian MacDonald's books. Maybe it's a good idea to have sort of like fantasy and science fiction interleave. On the other hand, those are very different authors with very different styles of writing and very different approaches to art. So there may be some very jarring contrast between those books, I guess. We'll see. Which, it's weird. Like it's autumn. Obviously, it's gotten really windy and cold today, which will be fun with the festival. But yeah, it feels like I'm running out of time. If I want to finish that fucking conspiracy fiction video, which I really need to finish because I've read too much to not do it, but right now it's a bit further away in my brain. I don't know, for whatever reason. It's probably just like, autumn mental health stuff happening and what. I'm sort of losing contact to the project there, or like that feeling of urgency. And that's a bad thing if you're like me and have like ADHD. If you lose that that fire, it's very difficult to rekindle that and get back to it. But on the other hand, I've promised the video, and I wanna get it done. Just need to sort of like buckle down and get everything sorted out, record it and get it out to you. So I can focus on the next big thing, which will of course be the Sanderson stuff, starting with an introduction to Mormonism as a larger sort of like system, and then applying what I talk about there to the Sanderson books afterwards, or at least be able to point to these specific aspects and showcase them. I think that's more like what I'm trying to do there. But that's, plans for the more distant future. I think the other part is, of course, that I need to figure out if I am able to get more author interviews. I personally think, those may be very rewarding. Clearly, a potential candidate would be Ian MacDonald, because, I'm currently reading a lot of his books. So the problem is, of course, that I'm incredibly socially awkward, and it usually takes me like months to muster up the courage to contact an author or their agent or publisher to publicist to get to talk to me. I admire other booktubers. I admire booktubers who do that. Who can do that just without thinking about it too much. I admire that. I wish I could do that. I can't. I'll try to work on it. But yeah, ending, say, the Ian MacDonald thing with a conversation with the author would be really cool, I think. And obviously, that won't happen for Brandon Sanderson, but there might be other authors that I would be interested in talking to and going through their works and doing that kind of stuff more. Sort of trying to add value to book reviews that goes beyond just me telling you that the book is cool and you should read it, but going more into the larger context, because I think science fiction is obviously a genre, and fantasy, those are genres that have evolved over decades, and there's always trends within those, and books influence other books and so forth, and having the opportunity to sort of showcase that, and sometimes even talk with creators, with artists, with writers, about their approach and how they see themselves within those traditions, those different schools, whatever you want to call them, traditions within the genre, I think is really helpful and interesting. And it feels like it's something that not too many people do in the larger genre of fantasy and science fiction book sphere, so I feel I'm doing something that adds value to the larger conversation, where, people that are interested in reading, in knowing these kind of things, can come to my channel and hear them. And if they want to have just tier lists of characters, they can go to a different booktuber and get that there. So, trying to find my very specific niche within the larger media sphere, I guess, or social, somewhat book-related online conversation is I guess what I'm trying to do here. And maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Anyway, I hope you had a good week. I hope you read more than I did. I hope you had fun. And I hope you will have fun this week. Let me know what you are planning to read. Let me know what you are planning to do this week. And all kinds of other stuff. Just, yell at me in the comments. I always appreciate that. And I'll see you very soon with a video on probably Scissors Cut Paper Wrap Stone, or the Sapling Cage, or something else. And until then, I don't know, like, subscribe, share it with friends, comment, join the Patreon, do something cool. And thanks and cheers.